All right, here we go. The Verge PC build reaction supercut.
There is a video that a lot of people have been sharing in my Discord.
I kept getting notifications over and over and over to review this thing before it gets taken down.
On September the 13th of this year, The Verge published a video on YouTube.
This is a notoriously bad video, apparently. I haven't watched it yet.
Apparently it was like a total fucking shit show.
How we built.
When I watched this for the very first time, I didn't know most of these guys, like 95% of these guys. I still don't know 95% of these guys. I basically know only one, Tipster. His career is not good right now, but this video is great. The mashup, I mean.
$2,000 gaming PC.
But I've been told it is extremely bad and it's full of things that you just shouldn't do when building a gaming PC.
At first, I admit.
By the way, this build put me off from building my own PC. I'm still afraid to make mistakes like that guy, and I'm pretty sure I can avoid them. It's not that difficult to build a PC. I'm not confident enough.
I thought it was satire.
So a few years ago, TC, or managing editor...
Hi, Stefan. You probably shouldn't have included your Twitter handle here because I imagine you're just going to get absolutely flamed from the internet.
He got so roasted. I think he went on hiatus. I don't even think he's on Twitter right now, or X, or whatever.
Build a gaming desktop for around $1,000.
Which is true.
Well, yeah, you can build a gaming desktop for around $1,000, or $350, or $250, or $200, or $175, or $150, or sometimes even $100. But yeah, sure, $1,000.
I want to go all out, so I spent around $2,000.
$2,000 is a decent chunk of change for a gaming PC.
My PC is about $2,000. Or at least this one is a pre-build. Plus, it's got good parts in it.
So, what do you need to build a desktop? Well, of course, first you need a table. Preferably not metal.
Hold on, time out. Time out.
So, what do you need to build a desktop? Well, of course, first you need a table.
First, you can build it on the floor.
Preferably not.
You need a table to build a PC. I thought you could build it in midair.
You cannot build this on the floor. So step 1, you need a table. Step 2, you better have 2 hands, and they better have 10 digits.
Like, that's just common sense. You're gonna need a working surface area to build a computer. That's just, why even say that?
Have an anti-static working surface layered on top of it, a thermal paste applicator, and
what? A thermal paste applicator? What the heck is that?
Does anybody ever actually use a thermal paste applicator?
Never
an
seen
Allen
one.
wrench.
Why is he recommending an Allen wrench?
I have never used an Allen wrench to build a computer ever, and I've built about 30 computers now.
Unless he used that Allen wrench to put together the table.
Some tweezers to tighten up the wires.
Hold on, did he just say tweezers? Those are zip ties.
How in God's name is my English better than his?
Ooh, this is not turning out good already.
A Swiss Army knife, which hopefully has a Phillips head screwdriver in it.
That is the thing that drove me crazy, because I have seen the original Verge video. Okay, I have seen the original video before this mashup, before they took it down. Why would you need a Swiss Army knife? Isn't it simpler to have a Phillips screwdriver, or both Phillips and regular screwdrivers, just in case there are not Phillips heads in it? That is the thing that blew my mind, and it's gonna blow these guys' minds as well.
A Swiss Army knife that hopefully has a Phillips head screwdriver in it. No.
Wouldn't you make sure that you have the tools necessary before you start the build?
This is a sponsored video.
Why does your office, with so many dozen PCs and so many dozen tech employees, not have one of these?
And
Correct.
last but not least, an anti-static bracelet, which is to
didn't see it,
protect
but-
you.
Okay, that's true.
and
The guy
parts.
was holding up.
These are the parts you're
Phillips.
going to need. But more importantly, before we get
Hold on. That's not an anti-static bracelet at all. There's no ground wire coming off of it. He's not connected to anything. That looks like the bracelet I'm wearing.
What? It's not a wireless wristband. That's a Rivstrong bracelet. He not fighting static. He fighting cancer.
That's not going to work at all. Don't listen to this person. This is really bad so far.
We have a lot of boxes and a lot of PC parts, so it's best you unbox them, isolate the parts that you really need. So it's best you unbox them, isolate the parts that you...
What? Why did he destroy the box? Dude, you have a knife right there, man.
That wasn't so hard, was it?
And screw in...
I know it's kind of stupid for this video, but I love that. It was like, oh, you just open this way. Wasn't so hard, was it? I was like, oh, yes.
with confidence, but also don't screw in too hard, otherwise you...
Screw in with confidence. I like his style.
Oh, at least he put the posts in. He didn't tell, it's a tutorial. They didn't tell you to put the posts in, but luckily he already did it and you just have to figure it out on your own.
I chose Asus's Z37
Asus?
for two main reasons. One, it has built-in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and also it has...
Don't buy a motherboard just because it has built-in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth.
And also it has support for NVMe SSDs, meaning you can get really...
Okay, I want to stop it there because why is he installing the motherboard straight into the chassis? I'd install as much as I physically could onto the motherboard first. So you're talking the processor, thermal paste. It's cooler if it will allow it. Obviously, if you're using an AIO, it's a different story or custom loop. But if it's an air cooler, you can bolt that on there. M.2 drive, so that could be SATA or NVMe, and memory as well. So basically try and build as much as you can onto the motherboard. So when you do transfer it to the case, it's just generally easier.
Attention to...
By the way, I've learned from that guy more about PC builds than I would ever learn from anything else. But again, I'm not confident enough in actually building my own PC, so we'll leave it at that.
The brace that goes at the brace that the brace that goes the brace that the brace that goes at the back
brace?
of the
Oh my.
Did he seriously just call an IO shield plate a brace?
You always have to make sure that you really hammer it in because there's no screw.
Do not hammer it in. Please do not hammer it. Why did he say hammer it in?
Secondly, it's pretty fast RAM. It's 2,666 megahertz.
That's not that fast for DDR4 memory. That is very, very slow. 2666 is not that fast.
I can run at 3200 megahertz.
That would be classified as really fast on DDR3, but for DDR4, not so much.
Okay, I don't know why he's opening all 4 DIMM slots. He only has 2 sticks of RAM. He's putting this in wrong. Already. There's the little notch right there, and there is the hole. You could tell right now this is not lined up. He's already putting it in upside down. He's not going to be able to snap this in.
And just lining that up with the logo.
Oh, they cut away.
So once you hear that...
They cut away because he was putting it in wrong.
So once you hear that solid clasp and you don't see...
You mean click? It's not a clasp.
Now he's in slot 4. Who edited this?
I mean, I tell you, I'm definitely editing my video down so I don't sound stupid.
Step 3, we're going to install...
Hold on. What is that?
Hold up.
What is this right here?
What do you guys see wrong?
He installed the memory incorrect.
Oh no, he installed the memory wrong.
They side by side. They should be spaced out for that motherboard. I look at the manual. That's the wrong way.
So,
Quick story. Before we continue with the movie, quick story for everybody watching and for you guys at home that are watching this video. My former PC had issues. I couldn't figure those out. What I did was take off all the memory cards. I had 4 memory cards, not like this guy, not like this video, which had 2, and started to insert them back and see if the PC would boot up because it wouldn't boot up. Figured out that if I just kept 2 of them together side by side, like in this video, that's the only way the PC would boot up. It's the same PC I'm using right now at my actual job to actually not record videos, but edit videos on my free time at my workplace. That is my old rig. It is still connected just like this Verge video. And I know it's bad, but the DIMM slots are screwed up and there's no way of having dual channel on the other PC. And the only way I knew that was from this particular video. That was just an aside. I'm sorry.
Oh, rip dual channel support on his motherboard if he's going to run his RAM like that.
That's only going to read 8 gigs. That's not going to read 16 because one of them's installed incorrectly.
Speaking of the memory, I wish I could erase this one.
But you can always upgrade this and swap it out, and it's only held down by one screw and the latch, so it's really simple.
Okay, so he mentions it's only held down by a screw and a latch, but then looking at it, he hasn't actually put the standoff, and it looks like he's screwing the NVMe drive directly onto the motherboard. So generally you'd get these with your motherboard, which is a tiny little standoff and a little screw that just kind of brings up the M.2 drive so that it's in line. He's screwing it down onto the motherboard like, oh. Is this computer even gonna work?
Now, which lane you choose depends entirely on what other parts you're going to put in the system. I'm just going to pick the top one.
Absolutely wrong. He's absolutely wrong there. Obviously, you pick the top one because that one has the most bandwidth.
I'm just going to pick the top one because the SSD is at the bottom and I don't want to cover it. I just think it looks nice. Make sure that you align it with these little insulating pads. So
They're not insulating pads, they're anti-vibration pads. What are you insulating against?
so the power supply doesn't short circuit and come into contact with the rest of the system.
What?
So
Whoa, hold the phone.
That is so dumb.
You are actually an idiot.
Go in. I've had enough.
This is the part where
So we have a
he
120
blew their
volt
minds
outlet,
up.
and then
So
we
they-
have our power supply. Oh no, 120 volts. I'm touching the case. There's 120 volts going through my body right now. But what happens if we take that nice little thing? Nothing. Because if we go into continuity, it's grounded. It's almost as if the people
Just so you know, if you haven't figured out what he's doing, he's basically, the first time he touched it and it doesn't bleep, it does what it's supposed to do. Is make sure that the ground that goes out, and when it touches the power supply, it doesn't ground it. If it did, the guy would jump up in the air, probably have a massive coronary attack, or be on the floor. That's the bad side. On the good side, he would just drop it and let it go because it would really sting him.
developing electrical standards knew what the heck they were doing.
It's a good thing he has what would Jesus do bracelet on, or he'd be really screwed.
So just take it in, slide it in nice and easy until
What?
you have a snug fit, and then shift it to
What?
the back and make sure it's right up against the front.
What's wrong here?
Oh my god, he's putting the fan towards the back of the case. He's gonna suffocate airflow on it. Oh no.
If you want this PC to actually last and not burn itself the fuck up,
This is potentially a fire hazard.
You should never do that. Never, ever, block the fan.
What the case is designed for is that the power supply should be facing outward, or the fan should be facing outward so it could pull air in.
this guy's gonna be replacing the power supply in a few months and he's gonna be like, holy crap, why is this thing dead already?
Always be sure to try to place
Hold on.
I could see through this.
I can see the table through the fins of the radiator. He does not have fans on that.
Why are there no fans on the radiator? So he's just gonna fry his CPU too.
He also doesn't have the plastic cover on this. That has thermal paste on it.
And something that was not in this reaction video is the fact that he initially put it inside the case where it's clearly has a place to put it outside of the case. But okay.
If that thing happens to tilt or anything else, he's just going to smear thermal paste everywhere, possibly get it dirty.
There's nothing special about this screwing in process. They're just really long screws because they go through the entire frame of the cooler. And they take forever.
No, why they're really long screws is because you're supposed to put the fans on and then screw the fans on with those screws. That's why they're long.
Because the fans are this thick and the screws go through the fans into the radiator to mount them to the radiator.
He should use the small one. He going to drill holes into the heatsink of the radiator.
And that fluid's gonna go everywhere.
Okay, he's probably broken his all-in-one now.
I doubt this PC is gonna last very long.
My family in China who made this product cringing so hard right now.
Every power supply is going to come with a big bag of Velcro cables.
Okay, every power supply is going to come
No, only the modular ones.
with a big bag of cables. It's
I learned that the hard way before this video.
not every power supply, because not every power supply is modular. You have modular power supplies, semi-modular, and then just normal straight cables. So that's a bit of a misleading statement.
Typically, you want to put the cables in the power supply first. Some cases, very difficult to put it in after the fact.
Oh dear. Considering you've fucked up everything so far, I have no faith in you putting the CPU properly in its socket.
Why the hell is the CPU not installed at this point?
A Core i7 hexa-core CPU. Yeah, we've got one, and it's an 8th generation chip.
Yeah,
and
we got one. Super exclusive. You can only buy it on every major retailer in the world.
And it supports overclocking. So what
I swear to God, you
this
better not
little
overclock
installer
it.
does, it's going to take this little plastic part out.
I think Intel and AMD's CPUs have been overclocked since what, 2000?
Just toss that out of here.
No, don't do that.
And-
No, you need that.
What the heck did he just do? And he goes like, Last Jedi level.
Motherboard manufacturers actually require you to have that but plastic cover for the socket, the CPU socket. If you plan on RMAing that motherboard, if there's a problem with it and you plan on sending it back to the manufacturer to get fixed, they need that plastic cover. They will not accept an RMA process or request if you don't have that cover. So don't throw that away. Always keep that.
And also, you do not just pull it out of the socket. It pops out after you put your CPU in, which you would know if you would have already put your CPU in before all of this garbage that you did on your case.
And we're going to use the CPU applicator. This is a special
is that?
part that
I've
not
never
everyone
seen
may
that.
get, but this motherboard.
I have never seen that in my life.
What the fuck is a CPU applicator?
I have never seen a bracket for the CPU to be held on so you can install it properly.
It's called a CPU installation tool. It makes it really
You don't need
useful.
that.
So what having this little installer does for you is it's basically a brace that you can apply.
Yeah, you don't
right
need
to the
that.
and this will make it easier for us to apply it to
You
the
don't
motherboard
need that.
and make sure that
One of the things that keep me away from actually doing a PC build is installing the CPU. I'm so afraid to put it in, not incorrectly, just put it in a little bit, off kilter and completely destroying one of the pins and just ruining the entire CPU. That's my biggest fear. And like my wife told me, nah, it's nothing. And she hasn't built any PC. She's like, it's fine. It just slides in. You don't worry. We'll do a PC build next time. It's like, no way.
everything lines up, and we're going to clasp down on it, and we'll be good.
The holder's right here.
You took the tool off and you threw it to the side.
Why did he spend all that time talking to us about that CPU holder thingy if he didn't even use it?
He knows he didn't need it. Now we can't delete everything he said because the editor is someone else other than him.
So we're about to apply thermal paste to the CPU.
Why are we about to apply thermal paste to the CPU? I'm looking in the AIO, like typically AIOs come with like a small amount of thermal paste already pre-applied.
Every CPU cooler actually comes with a bit of thermal paste already neatly applied, and
Not every CPU cooler.
it's good, essentially PC building practice to have a little bit extra and layer it on top of the CPU.
No.
What he do? It's a CPU. You're not icing a cake.
This whole thermal paste thing really wrecked their brains. They just don't know what to think.
By the looks of it, where I've paused, he looks like he's adding more thermal paste to the CPU, and then he's going to put what's already on the cooler on top, which that's a big no-no. Don't do that. That's awful. What you should do is use a pea-sized drop of thermal paste in the middle of the IHS, which is that like metal square on the CPU. Integrated heat spreader, as it's called. That's more than enough, is a pea-sized blob of thermal paste in the middle. Once you make the contact with the CPU cooler, that will actually spread out when you go to put pressure from the cooler on top of the CPU. So don't do this.
If they left this PC as is, it would probably be dead in a week.
So you're going to see that
Oh my God, what is that? What is this application process? What is that?
So you're going to see that there are
Oh
four
my God.
So you're going to see that there are 4 brackets.
It's like someone threw up thermal paste onto his processor.
It literally looks like a bird of shit all over the processor.
Imagine a ketchup packet slowly being ran over.
He went all bukkake up in that thermal paste.
You had a thermal paste spreader. Use the fucking thing. What is that?
Dude, I can't even make fun of this guy anymore. He's actually like messed up like almost everything.
Oh, if this computer posts, it'll be a freaking miracle.
And they're going to keep the cooler
they're not
raised off the
brackets.
processor, but it's also going to be close enough to actually physically come in contact with it.
It has
They're going
to
to keep
come in
the
contact.
cooler off the processor, but it's going to be close enough to make physical contact.
Take thumb screws like this and just screw them on.
Woo, The Verge. I dislike your editing style so much. He said do it like this, and it's a wide shot. I can't even see what he's doing.
So now that our internals are done, we're going to put all the panels back on, which is the top glass, side glass, front glass, and of course the back panel where all of
Oh,
this
thank
fun
God
stuff
it's
is.
done.
So we fully built the
What is this? What is all of this?
Okay, this is where it's a little bit nitpicky, and this is like really nerd stuff with cables. I understand why cable management is essential, and I understood that when I got this PC as opposed to the other PC. The other PC does not have a good cable management because I messed around with it again to play with the memory cards. This PC, beautiful. All you see is the two lines of the water cooling going into the water coolers, the CPU water cooler, and that's it. All the other ones are hidden away, tucked away. And you know why it's important? Know why it's nerdy? It's to have the perfect or the best airflow in order to cool the PC down. If it's all messed up, the PC isn't cool right, and the length of time you have with it is shortened.
So that cable management though.
When you're building a computer, always take the time to cable manage properly. Make sure everything looks neat. You know, your cables aren't going to affect your airflow inside your case.
And he actually used his quote-unquote tweezers / what we know as zip ties, but he didn't do a very good job of actually cleaning up. And holy crap, look, there's a missing screw on his all-in-one water cooler pump. Why, you just had 3 and there's an extra one and you just threw it away just like your socket cover? And look at this. The tubing that goes into his all-in-one water cooler pump contacts the 1080 graphics card that he has.
It
That's
would
bad
fry the
practice.
1080,
That thing contains liquids that could potentially short out the system if it gets damaged by the heat generated by the graphics card. Now, it looks like he managed to find the right screw for the fans. Oh, good.
That's just awful.
and we got to the post screen.
No way.
And we got to the post screen.
They got to
So
the
what's
post
next?
screen. Holy shit, it's a miracle.
I'm honestly surprised he got it to post at all.
That's
Well, you
amazing.
need a
That's the
USB
biggest
flash.
surprise of all. He got to the post screen. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause.
And we got to the post screen.
You know what he totally skipped too? He totally forgot to mention how to plug in the power switch, reset switch, front USBs, front headphone jack, and microphone jack. Totally skipped over the front panel I/O.
I really want him to open up Computer Manager and see if it's pulling and if it's reading all 16 gigs because he still never fixed the memory.
And it's running pretty smoothly. I'm averaging 70 and 80 FPS.
You're averaging 70 and 80 FPS because you're in a plane flying around. The game really only needs to detail render your plane. Everything else is like half rendered because you're going so fast. So that's how they hide it with motion blur and all that stuff.
So right now I'm playing League of Legends. It's one of my
A
favorite
bad
games. I'm actually
benchmark
playing against
game.
a-
The minimum requirement for League of Legends is literally a single core processor.
League of Legends could run on the shittiest of laptops. It was designed that way.
I'm averaging 120 FPS, and that's only because I've actually locked the game to that frame rate because
He's locked the game at 120 FPS. Why? Aren't we supposed to be benchmarking something? Why even bother?
The reason you have it capped at 120 frames per second is because you probably are not using a monitor that is 144 hertz. So anytime you get super high frame rates, you're probably experiencing ghosting and Yasuo showing up all over the place because your panel can't keep up with your system.
And of course now we also have a computer to test and benchmark games here at The Verge.
No. You did not get the right to benchmark games or test PC components if you build PCs like that, bro. You put your PSU the wrong way. You oversaturated in thermal paste. You mixed 2 thermal pastes together. You made a rat's nest for cable management. You even missed 1 screw on your all-in-one water cooler. Your radiator hoses contact the 1080 graphics card. Ain't nobody gonna respect your benchmarks after this, bro. 2.1 million subscribers ain't got a freaking screwdriver. Doesn't know what the heck tweezers are versus a zip tie. Doesn't know how to mount an all-in-one water cooler. Doesn't know how to put a power supply into their case. thinks a power supply can short circuit by contacting the metal case.
All right, so long story short,
Yeah.
this video sucks.
Presented by Capital One.
Capital One, you got the raw end of the deal.
Oh, you got to get your logo scraped off this thing. Holy moly.
I don't know why you guys sponsored this video because it's terrible. It's full of misinformation.
This is easily the worst PC build I have ever seen.
A lot of people are going to screw their computer up.
Very
Oh, yeah.
scary. Someone who built a PC for the first time might think this is a good video to follow.
Dude, and that's the most important thing. If I was a first-time PC builder and I was looking for a guide to build your first PC, The Verge has such a hold on YouTube, or it had such a hold on YouTube. It would have been probably, if I was looking to build a PC right at that time where The Verge came out with that video, and if it was good, it would probably be pushed on. But because they had to remove it because of the backlash of what the hell happened, but if I was not aware of it, I would have gotten that video as a suggestion, and I would be completely lost. If I would have gone to any of these guys' channel, some of them are actually PC builders. So if I would have gone to their channel, I would have gotten much better information rather than The Verge's clickbaity, pushed hard by Google, by YouTube trending video. Remember that.
And their PC explode. They don't know the video bad because they disable the like and dislike and the comment. So much censorship. Feel like I'm back in China.
So all you have to do is take the brick and make sure that you align it with these little insulating pads, so the power supply doesn't short circuit and come into contact with the rest of the system.
Doesn't short circuit and come into contact with the rest of the system. Doesn't short circuit and come into contact with the rest of the system.
We have a big team of tech reporters with a deep understanding of tech and how it affects the world we live in.
Scrolling through the trash, can't believe my eyes. Worthless vids, man, no surprise. Stupid thumbnails, faces all deranged. Looking for gold, all I find is strange.